Cuban players are some of the best players in Major League Baseball. But there's a dark side of the MLB that most people don't know about, how these Cuban players actually got here. Over the past few years, federal investigators have uncovered a vast and vicious human trafficking network, one that supplies the MLB with its Cuban talent. Federal prosecutors say lots of these Cuban players came in this way, including some big names like Jose Abreu and Yasiel Puig. And they're lucky to be alive. At least 6 smugglers have pleaded guilty or been convicted so far, and this is how they describe it. It starts in Cuba, where players sneak onto a smuggler's boat. These criminals could take them straight to the US, but then the players would be eligible for the baseball draft and land smaller contracts. Instead, smugglers ferry players into Cancun, Mexico. There, investigators say the smugglers hold players and their families against their will until they sign contracts with specific agents and promise a huge chunk of their future salaries.
They were kidnapped victims, essentially. I mean, they weren't thankfully beaten or maimed or tortured, but they had no free will. They were told where to go, when to go. They were given minimal necessities and held until they could provide some financial benefit to the people who took them.
So when outfielder Leonis Martin landed a $15.5 million contract with the Texas Rangers back in 2011, here's what the public didn't see. $5.5 million were supposed to go back to his smugglers. Martin exposed that when he sued his smugglers back in 2014. These Cubans appear to be free agents. In a sense, that couldn't be further from the truth. This underworld involves so many smuggling rings that people are starting to ask how much the MLB actually knows about this. The MLB declined to comment.
You add on the layers of the fraudulent application for passports, the fraudulent paperwork. Everything now becomes a fraud. And if baseball is involved in seeing that paperwork, what other conclusion can you draw that, wow, they certainly don't have 20/20 vision on this. Willful blindness.
After all, convicted smugglers say professional American baseball scouts are actually visiting these Cuban players when they're stuck in Mexico and held against their will.